another undiscovered country, undiscovered time, a new page in our life. We did not create ourselves. We did not bring ourselves to this world. We did not bring ourselves here even, to this place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared our rizq for us, and then He brought us to that place. Then He prepares our rizq for us, He brings us to that time. Allah is without end, generosity, kindness, goodness, blessing, and fresh life. We are speechless and truly mindless of that. We cannot describe it. We cannot thank it. سبحانك ما شكرناك حق شكرك يا مشكور. Glory to you, exalted are you, subuh are you. We did not give you thanks as you ought to be given thanks to, or the one who deserves all our thanks. People want sometimes to change themselves for the better. We always say we want to change for the better, and this is good to have that as our agenda all the time, to always get better, do better. It's very difficult to change for the better. But time changes us regardless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes us. He creates us, and He brings us from the point of birth to the point of death through many different changes. And each change, when we look back, we realize that that person I was is finished. Now I am another person. And then again and again and again until the time of the last breath. And we ask for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take us back to Him, safe and sound. Just as He brought us to this world, safe and sound and perfect. We never give thanks enough. But we don't realize in the moment the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are mindless of those gifts, of those morsels of life that we take in and breaths that we bring out. Everything coming from Him. If we become conscious of that, then it's good for us, because then our fear is taken away. What do you have to fear when you have such a Creator as your cherishing Lord, your nurturing Lord, more tender and merciful to you than a mother for her newborn child. More merciful than that, more tender than that, more nurturing than that. Every moment of our life, because it is all in His hand, in His power, every moment, and every second of our breath. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. Everything belongs to Him. له ملك السماوات والأرض. The sovereignty and the dominion and the kingdom and the ownership of heavens and earth, meaning of everything that is in them, belongs to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet ﷺ said, if you recite after every salat, after every fard salat, Ayatul Kursi. Nothing stops between you and paradise. Nothing except death. Death meaning that's the only thing separating you. Yani paradise is right there, but you cannot see it, you are not there yet in this life until you leave this life. Then when you make yourself prepared to just reciting Ayatul Kursi after every Salat Maktuba. Subhanallah. Because everything is in that ayah about the Asma and Sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our relationship of complete ubudiyyah, our dependency on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our creator and our Lord. And he also said in this life, if you recite Ayatul Kursi before sleep, no harm can approach you. No difficulty can remain around you. It is all taken away. And only goodness surrounds you. Just recite it before you sleep. And if you have any difficulty in your life, also you recite it. So, against any difficulty of material life, or any attacks, or any fear also, Allah takes all that away and keeps you protected and happy and tells you that paradise is just around the corner, just for reciting this one ayah of his book. But we are heedless. We will see or think that we see problems in our lives, and then we will come and helpless and say, help me with this, help me with that. But Allah said you can help yourself. The problem is we don't want to help ourselves. We are like a person who comes to the doctor and the doctor gives a prescription, then we go home and we don't follow the prescription. Okay, what is this logic? Come on, you came all the way to the clinic, but you do not have the energy or the logic to lift the prescription to your mouth and drink or take that pill or whatever. Or you take it one day and the next day you don't. Or you are anxious one day and sincere, the next day you forget and you are heedless and you don't care. Recite La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah 100 times before bed. Think of it, about it, and what you are saying. And then at the 100 times you say Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you think that if we, even one moment, one breath of concentration reciting this kalimat al-shahada, any problem can remain in front of you? Nothing. But you don't want to cure yourself. What is the problem? Allah gave you the solution, but you don't follow the solution, so by not following, that is what allows the problem. It's good to ask dua of others, but why don't you make dua for yourself? Why don't you raise your hands and, Ya Rabbi, I'm asking you with the sincerity of my poverty, with the realization of that I am weak and powerless. You use that as your wasila. And you throw yourself at the foot of the throne of the All-Merciful. You know the expression of أخذ بحقه, يعني he grasped his sides, the way that also we grasp the needs of the king for the petition. We come with our petition, oh our king, help us. Have that disposition and come with that realization of the teaching that is in Ayatul Kursi and recite it. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take away all your difficulty. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves to see His servant knock at His door with sincerity and with regularity and with earnestness and urgency. And that means also continuity. And so sometimes the situation will stay because Allah wants you to keep coming back and asking again and again. If a child is crying out of hunger, they will continue to cry until they are fed. Even if they are tired, sleepy, they will continue. And then they are heard and they are fed. So we are like that. We must be like follow up with our realization of our hunger. We are hungry, Ya Rabbi, Ya Allah, for help, for support, for sustainment and provision. Ya Rabbi, what can we do? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, will increase our rizq of spiritual opening, little by little. He is changing us for the best, for the better. It is not us. If it were for us, we are one step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps back, 10 steps back. Subhanallah. But at least, even if we know nothing, we must at least realize we know nothing. At least we realize that we are in need of help. That is a great step. That is also knowledge. To know that you know nothing is knowledge. To know that you are in need of help, that's diagnosis, knowledge of the diagnosis, the right diagnosis. So we declare our helplessness, we declare our poverty. Ya Rab, help us. Do not leave us to ourselves. لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. Not for the blink of an eye. That is our belief, our firm belief that Allah takes care for us even for that moment between the blink of the eye and the end of the blink. He is taking care of us in every moment. It is us who are heedless. It is us who are far away. But He is nearer than near. Subhanallah. Figure it out. Figure it out. We cannot ask how. If He is near, I am far. Yes. Oh, subhanallah. You can be near in front of someone talking and you realize that your mind is elsewhere, traveling elsewhere. So you are near, but you are far. Even with someone in this dunya. So it is not impossible to conceive and to understand as a concept. But we ask to be near, Ya Rabbi, from the people of nearness, Ahl al-Qurba. No, the leitmotiv of the Sahaba al-Kiram, al-Aish wa Aish al-Akhirah, al-Aish, Aish al-Akhirah. Prophet ﷺ teaching them that. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari. The real life is the life of the hereafter. Teach yourselves that. Al-Aish, Aish al-Akhirah. So that you will be attracted to the people of Akhirah. people of Akhirah. Because the real people, the real human beings are the human beings of Akhirah. The reality of your humanity is spirituality. Because if it is only physicality, we share that with animals. That is not our identity as human beings. So we ask, Ya Rabbi, put us with those real human beings of Akhirah. Because the real life is the life of Akhirah. We are asking for the real life right now in this life. Allah gave us that. He gives us that. He gives us the Riyad al-Jannah, the circles of zikr. We enter into paradise in a circle of zikr already. And in such a circle, even silence is already the suhba and the teaching. Silence itself is blessing and beneficial for us. It is our therapy from so much noise, from ourselves, from our surroundings, environment. One time, story, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him strength to stand up to a lot of persecution from authorities on questions of aqidah, but they were making it political. You see, that you must say this, not say that. And Imam Ahmad would say, I will say the truth, that's it, that's all I can say. The truth that I learned from my teachers. If my teachers never said it, I can never say it. And he heard of this Sufi master, Al-Harith ibn Asad al-Muhasibi. And by the way, Harith also means Asad, yani lion. Lion, son of lion, that was his name. MashaAllah, lion. Like our teacher now, that we just met, Habib Ali Al-Faqih. MashaAllah, lion. Because every Ali is son of Sayyidina Ali, and Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a lion. That was the title of Sayyidina Ali, as he said himself. It's mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari. He mentioned it before battle. My mother named me Haydara, lion. So there are so many names for lion in Arabic, subhanAllah. Like Ghadanfar. If you think dragon is something, try Ghadanfar. SubhanAllah. The lions of the forest. That's the name of the encyclopedia of Sahaba by Imam Ibn al-Athir. Usd al-Ghaba. So Asad, plural, Usud, and also Usd. Al-Harith ibn Asad al-Muhasibi was a Sufi master in the time of Imam Ahmad, and Imam Ahmad was curious to visit him, to listen to him. And so he asked someone who was a student of both of them, can you arrange for me to go to his majlis incognito, not to be seen? Just put me behind the curtain or something. And he did. So Imam Ahmad waited there, and the students came, and the teacher came and sat down, and they brought some dates and butter. That's all they had to eat. Some dates and butter. And they ate in silence with respect and adab in front of the teacher. Adab I saw written in the handwriting of Maulana Shaykh Nazim Qaddasallah Sirrah in his papers in Damascus, قال الأستاذ, teacher said, meaning Maulana Shaykh Abdullah Qaddasallah Sirrah, الشريعة أحكام والطريقة آداب. The Maulana Shaykh Abdullah said, Maulana Shaykh Nazim wrote it down, Sharia is all made of legal rulings. This is correct, this is not correct. Do this, don't do that. Halal, haram. Mustahab, makruh. Sunnah, not sunnah. Like that. And mubah. Everything is classified according to these categories. It is all ahkam. Is it okay to for asthmatic to take the inhalator during wasa in Ramadan and the fast is still valid or not? No, it's not. Not okay. If you have to, because it's a question of life and death and doctor ordered it, then do it. But you can make up for it later, qada. And you give the kafara. And alhamdulillah, you have the ajr also. You have the reward of the niyyah of fasting. But you cannot physically do this and that at the same time. So this is ahkam, you see. And then tariqah, the path of the servants of Allah who showed sincerity and made jihad and mujahada in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the sake of Allah, paying with themselves, with their souls and with their lives. That path, that suluk, that tariqah, that school of action, that is made of what? Not ahkam, adab. Adab, meaning that the behavior has become your personality, your adab, your character. Adab, the way you speak, think, act, listen. The sound of your voice has the mark of that adab. So at-tariqatu adab. And so when they listen in silence and sat silently, that the Suhba has started already. Don't think it has not started. They are not waiting. They are practicing. Madad is coming, inspiration coming, mercy coming, malaika coming, cleaning cycle has started. Everything is in motion already. It's in motion even from the time we are in the belly of our mothers. Allah is giving. Who is receiving? Allah is saying, who is asking so that I will give? And with adab, with reverence. Their figure of nafs deactivated, closed shop. That business is closed. Now it's business of akhirah, meaning that your heart, your soul, your attention, your thoughts, your body, even body. That's why sitting, listening to khutbah, it's good to be sitting towards the khatib so that you will get everything. And if you can see better, because it helps you to listen better. And if you reflect, then that's good too also. You close the eyes of distraction, the gateway of distraction. So, whatever gets you closer, because you are connected not just to that immediate teacher, but to he is connecting also to his teacher, and the teacher to his teacher, all the way to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the reality. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous. He said everyone is included under that silsila, even someone who's just visiting without that intention of being part of that majlis. He is also under their wing and in their jama'ah and part of their silsila now. Because the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you too come in also. Subhanallah. In other words, just be here. Alas, you have your quota and your share. You have your reward. You have your iftar with you, but spiritual iftar. Spiritual iftar, because the soul has been dying of hunger and thirst to get that madad. But through this majlis, now the soul has it. Alhamdulillah, be happy, be thankful. And you did not even intend to be here, but you made it here. Even meaning physically. That's why the Prophet ﷺ say in one of his hadiths, and it's a famous hadith, special hadith, astonishing hadith, because we mentioned Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. He said, looking at the face of Ali is ibadah. Prophet ﷺ. And this something in the Ba'alawi tariqah is famous. This hadith is mentioned to explain a certain teaching. And the meaning of that is that, as Prophet ﷺ said, the awliya are those that when you look at them, they remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They remind you of that adab, that you are created by Allah, you are created for Allah. You are not created to play. You are not created to be with animals. But to be a human being, to be raised up, to be brought where Sayyidina Gibril even he said, this is my limit. To be brought where Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ brought you in Isra and Mi'raj. Imam Ushayri writing, I heard my teacher say, Abu Ali al-Daqqaq, that truly Allah gave us the ladder to Him, that is Salat, because it is our Mi'raj as believers. That is our Mi'raj as believers. Salat. So, Ya Rabbi, you brought us to this point, to this Ramadan. You brought us to this breaking fast with the believers. To be thankful, Ya Rabbi, for breath, for be able to swallow correctly, be able to eat and drink in peace of the body, and rest of the mind and the body, in the jama'ah at peace, in a peaceful place, peaceful country. How many thanks we owe you for 1 second of our life, and the next second, and the next second, non-stop. This is the thanks of reasonable, logical human beings. We are not even mentioning the teachings of Islam and Iman yet, and Ihsan and Sharia and Tariqah. Yet you have brought us further to be in the company of your awliya, to be mentioning their names, their stories, their zikr, their adab. And you gave us some taste of the pleasure of the sama, hearing of the reality of their states. Something about it. Something less than the drop in the scoop of the ocean. But it made us thirsty for more. It attracted us and hooked us like a fish caught. Now we are caught. We cannot leave. Even if we want to, we cannot. We cannot. That bay'ah is forever. Because Allah wants us for Him. And this is one of the pathways to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As many as the breaths of creatures, the ways to Allah. As many as that. So we are progressing to you, Ya Rabbi. We have no other choice. We are coming to you. You are bringing us to you. You are progressing us to you. Subhanallah. And all we can say, Ya Rabbi, we say Sallamna. We surrender. We resign ourselves. We give up ourselves. We are, Ya Rabbi, your Zawiyah we accept. Forgive us and bless us and keep us in that Jama'ah. Imam Ahmad was astonished at their adab and at their... Then when the teacher started speaking, Imam Ahmad, what happened to him? He fainted. Yes. This even those who are not accepting tasawwuf, they said, this is sahih story, but we cannot believe it. Sahih isnad in the story of Imam Ahmad fainting at the discourse of the Sufi teacher, but it does not enter their mind that how this happened. Imam Ahmad like that, inshallah. Yes. Because there are things that are beyond us. There are things that, most things are beyond us. All we can say is, Alhamdulillah for teachers who accept children around them. Just like Sayyidina Isa and Sayyidina Muhammad. Sayyidina Isa saying, let the children come close, no problem. Sayyidina Muhammad, even in Salat, carrying the children on his shoulder, in the middle, even in Salat of Fard. Because that's us. They are carrying us. We are those children coming close to the feet of Anbiya, Awliya. And Alhamdulillah, they let us play, even with our noisy lack of adab, our smelly, dirty smell in our diapers. Yes, unwashed. We are unwashed. I am unwashed, I admit it. And I ask forgiveness. Ya Rabbi, اغفر لنا وارحمنا وتجاوز عنا. This is the month of Tawbah. This is the month of Quran. This is the month of lights. This is a month of return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where every thirsty soul saying, oh, now I cannot allow my shame to keep me away from the masjid anymore. I must run. Even though they all know and I know that I broke the rules many times, but still, and the awliya, they are saying, come back, never mind, come back, you broke the rules, but come back. And that's how our teachers taught us, and not to give up, not to stop. You are still in the program, you are still in that obligation. So, okay, you missed your prescription, okay, start again, continue it now. Never mind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make up the qada for you. And whatever you can make up, then do it as well. And in reality, they are not dissociated, Sharia and Tariqah. They said that the heart of Sharia is Tariqah and the heart of Tariqah is Sharia also. That is a rule in our Naqshbandi Tariqah and teaching. And we believe that. We keep to that, and we keep with love towards our masters and our teachers, and adab, and loyalty, and friendship, and ukhuwa, brotherhood, with everyone in tariqah, and everyone in the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For that sake, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us safe and sound in dunya and akhirah. And في الحياة وعند الممات, in life and at the time of death, وفي القبر وعند النشور, and in the grave and at the time of resurrection from the grave. يا رب ثبتنا على الحق، يا رب ثبتنا على الإيمان، يا رب ثبتنا على الاستقامة، يا رب ثبتنا على الاتباع. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك، لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. And يا رب, keep us in that circle of zikr at least once a week, and if you are far away and cannot make it, or you don't have time, at least once a month, because inshallah there is the replenishment and the iftar of our soul that is indispensable. We need it. We cannot do without it. And if we do without it, then the doctor will tell us, look, you have acted stupidly. Oh, I know, what can I do here? Well, stop it and come back and be logical with yourself and be healthy. Treat your soul in a healthy way. That is the health of Jama'ah. And as we always say, we mention that the first dua in Quran, the first dua in the Fatiha is dua of Jama'ah. Because the dua of Jama'ah is mustajab. That is what Allah is teaching us in the Fatiha with the first dua of the Quran. Mustajab. You want mustajab dua? Stay with the Jama'ah. You want quick help and health and protection? Ayatul Kursi. After every salat fard, you recite it, don't forget it. And then after that, whatever of dua and so forth. But Maulana Shaykh Hisham, one time he heard me, finish Salatul Jum'ah and quickly go to Tasbih and not reciting Salatul Kursi, and he corrected me in that. So even if it is the practice, of the Imam of Jum'ah to go quickly or just recite Fatiha and then Tasbih, no, don't forget, because Prophet ﷺ taught us this, that do it and inshallah you will see the results that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised in dunya and in akhirah. Tariqah is surrounded with recipes like that they are self-help recipes, in reality self-help recipes, because Allah gave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Malik al-Mulk, He gave to each one of the Muslimin and Muslimat a kingship and khilafah, and asking you to do something very little for a huge reward. A small seed for Jannatun Arduha as-samawat wal ard, for orchards and rewards of gardens of paradise that are bigger and larger than heavens and earth put together. Subhanallah. And this is all from the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the month of His generosity. لك الحمد والشكر. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ومن الله التوفيق بحرمة الحبيب حرمة الفاتحة.